The Absolute Way of Living. Chapter 6. The Crow. The story of the crow was no secret to anyone. He made sure of it. On the rooftop and under the rocks his sermons were heard. Everyone knew and respected the crow, for he brought to the animals words of wisdom from Mother Nature. The weak and helpless were his followers, for they were those most loved in his sermons. For with just a little patience and a special offering, the injustices and sufferings of the forests would be dealt with and all could live a happy and safe life. It was only the wise, the rich and the powerful that were disenchanted from such wild fantasies. Proud was the crow. Always smartly dressed in his attire of black and white, a great orator and a liking for enticing long speeches. The crow was easy to find by the bat. He had a center somewhere in the forest by the stream, a strategic place for crowd. The life of a preacher is not as simple as people envision it. He has to be an example for the people to follow, and appear all right at all times, for what he preached had to be evident in his life. This was the reason for the showmanship of the crow, but his life wasn't that bad after all, for he had immunity in the forest. No one had the guts to attempt the messenger of the gods, for their superstition was greater than hunger, and so, he could go wherever the lesser animals would not, thus, the reason for his station near the river. Blessed is he who gives himself wholly to the mercy of nature, you would hear him preach. He alone is wise among his colleagues, and the goodies of this life will surely be the abundance of his house. Everyone who loves his future will make space for piety, for this is what is right. Love your neighbor, but more so the messengers of your Lord. For even I had a past of truancy, a past of great disregard for the matters of spirituality, a favorite claim of Crow. I never understood the essence of life, nor did I know the importance of reverence until I grew, he continued. I grew. Yes, I would say, thanks to the one who called me into the light of her salvation. That's why I say to you children, respect every life and let your love be for one another. Have good company as Mother Nature has made it. Only then will your lives be truly blessed, prosperous and fulfilled. His sermons were seldom brief, but he gave it anyways. His life was perfect in the eyes of his congregants, who were mostly the small, for the bigger animals didn't really care. All had this great regard for the man of the gods, all but the tortoise. For he was old enough to see through the pretense and acts, for the crow was not the first, neither would he be the last. Most preachers don't know what they say, he would often tell. For the crow, who preached celibacy for himself, had secret wives. It wasn't then surprising when he made the statement, Mother Nature, in her infinite wisdom, thought it wise that no one should live alone, thus, she made us male and female. But would he dare say he is lonely and needed a companion? His reputation of selflessness was more important to him than the sweet embrace of 1,000 sweethearts. The thought of the crow as the final evidence for the case of being alone was satisfying to the bat. For if all could not pass the bar, not the crow. The wisdom of the gods will not allow it. If for anyone, not the great orator, the perfect messenger, the great counselor, and the great oracle. Bat took her time in observing him. She knew all his spots and his resting places. He always had company, even at home. His counseling sessions for the married and immediate widows would not permit him to be lonely. He also made sure he was present for the meetings of the tortoise, for he had a place of honor and the grace of a final say, or so did his zealous followers think. He seemed to know exactly what to say and when to say it. But the tortoise always had his saying. The words of a talker is like a transient cold spell, not so significant as its effects but a long-lasting stench on the trail of its bearer. For word spoken is nothing until put into practice. This was made manifest in just a short while, for the bat saw for herself, the nocturnal activities of Crow with the widow of the dove. These activities had been going on for a while now. But could nature be cheated? Company had won the day. The bat went home to think. All the animals in question had been observed, and all lessons needed, had been learned. Unfortunate was the two that lost their lives, but the rest had their lives to live. The bat was now ready for the tortoise. The tortoise was nowhere to be found, for the bat had searched everywhere to no avail. All the other animals seemed not to know where he was. For weeks, none of them had seen or heard anything about him. The bat then decided to wait till the next meeting, maybe then will she find him and give him the wisdom she had learned. Happy was the bat now, for she had gotten the answer to the most difficult question. She counted herself lucky to be a student of wisdom. She couldn't help but think of the tortoise, as a god, sent to them. Although she really was eager to tell someone of her findings, she thought it wise to apply self-control, for maybe she might still be wrong and only time could tell.